Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week, where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the overall topics of the day. For those of you who don't know, I'm Price of Reason. With me, I have my co-host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, doing all right. It's been a hell of a week. There's been a lot going on. That's Void King agrees. That's been a hell of a week. Yeah. It's There's just so much going on, so many just wild things, of course, with got Trump taking office at the start of the week and everything else just happening since then. It's just been a whirlwind of news and all sorts of stuff happening. On top of that, being my first week back teaching classes for the semester and everything that goes with that. So yeah, it's just been one thing after another this week. So but I'm surviving. I'm surviving.
I understand. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And I see some good people here in our chat. I see Marla Sharondon, Void King, Super Mario Brothers 3, Eraserhead. Always good to see these guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess today, one of our main topics of discussion is that you had this whole Oscars nominations. And I feel like every year, for
Oh
several years now,
no.
every year these Oscars have become more ridiculous. And it's as if they want to expedite the process of them becoming irrelevant. It's like every year they want to expedite that even more, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I dropped out there for a second, but I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, the Oscars just seem to want to become more and more
Irrelevant.
something that nobody cares about and means nothing to anyone. It's like, oh, yep, Oscar's gonna Oscar, right? They're gonna go and chase after the craziest, the most out there, fringe thing that they can, and they're gonna nominate that. They're gonna give the award to the wildest thing that they can give the awards to. So yeah,
By the
it's
way,
interesting.
hey Deadman, hey Murrockstra, hey Kay Levine, nice to see you all here. And yeah, it's like they just won't let go. You'd think that with Trump there, some of these people would start realizing that this whole DEI thing, all this stuff is just annoying people. I feel like they've had their run with what can easily be referred to now as the woke era. It doesn't matter how you feel about the word. It doesn't matter how it originated. I think that it's pretty fair to say that that's what that era is, and I feel
Yeah.
like that is falling out of favor with a lot of people. But somehow they didn't get the memo. They still by looking at these nominations, they're going all in. Now it could be a last hurrah, or just that's the way they are. But I was telling people today that every time they do this kind of thing, that rather than looking at real movies that may be worth something, that really had any kind of value, whether it's in the marketplace or artistic value, they just want to do all the virtue signaling and all the silly messaging. They're just damaging, eating away at the credibility of the Oscars. They've been doing it for a long time, and so little credibility is left there. It used to mean something, even though it was never perfect. It used to mean something when somebody won an Oscar. Today, it's like people are just rolling their eyes. It's like it doesn't even matter anymore. Professor, are you there? Oh, Professor was so upset about those Oscars that he wants nothing to do with them. I think he's having technical difficulties. But let me see if I can find these nominations. Oscars nominations. Let's see. See the full list of Academy Awards. Okay, we're going to do that. Share screen. I'm sure the professor will be with us momentarily. I know that he's having trouble with his internet, but that's not going to stop us from. Maybe it is going to stop us. I'm trying to show this thing. Oh no. I'm trying to show the list and it's not sharing it. Something strange is going on. Well, when the professor comes back, I'll see how I do this.
Oh, hey there. And
Hey,
yeah, I think it might be something going on with Rumble. It
is
just
it?
it just booted me right out. And like first all my audio and everything cut out, and then like I couldn't do anything. So then
I'm gonna try to step out and step back in because I'm trying to share.
yeah.
Oh wait, here it did share
Oh,
it.
oh,
Oh
yeah,
wait,
there we go.
wait, then it didn't share it. I don't understand what's going on. Okay, it
There we
is
go.
sharing
It
it.
seems to be sticking this time.
Okay, so I guess let's look at the nominations. Full list of nominations for the 2025 Academy Awards. We'll start with Best Picture. Okay, so you have Anora. Anora was something annoying. Remind me what it was. Do you remember what it was about? What's the
Um,
subject of Anora? I feel like it's something that
it's a hooker who marries a Russian oligarch, or the son of a Russian oligarch. And then the parents want the marriage annulled. They're not happy with the marriage, and so they try and break it up. So it's like, I guess it's a comedy, but I have not actually seen anything of it.
it sounds annoying to me personally, but I mean, I guess there could be worse things. I feel like if I saw it, I'd learn that there's some kind of message that they're going for. I just don't quite know what the message is, but I don't know. It's not. It doesn't sound like something that appeals to me. Maybe some ladies like rom coms with. Are
Yeah,
they going for like a Pretty Woman with like a Russian oligarch guy? Is that like instead of Richard Gere and with Julia Roberts, you have like I guess like a Russian lady and a Russian guy. I don't know, man.
yeah.
I don't think I'm the target audience for it. I'll be honest with you.
No, no, I really don't. I really don't think I'm the
Yeah. What
target
is this
audience.
Huggies?
It's an ad that popped up.
The
It
Night
asked if you
Owl,
had a.
sponsored by Huggies.
It wanted to know if you had a happy butt or a gappy butt. So I guess we need to decide.
Huggies, because
Fascinating,
poop happens.
because it
Uh,
does. It really does. Sorry, Sean.
sorry, Sean. This Huggies commercial is sponsored by Sean Crummel. In any case, Honora, The Brutalist. The Brutalist I heard was interesting. It's with Adrian Brody. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what's supposed to happen in that movie. Do you know?
Oh
It's one that
goodness,
I plan to get
that's one
to.
I don't remember hearing about.
I think that it has something to do with Adrian Brody, and maybe you know what? Let me see what it's about. I'm just curious. The Brutalist.
A
I heard it was.
visionary architect and his wife flee post-war Europe.
This sounds less interesting now that I think about it.
Mhm. And their lives are changed forever by a mysterious wealthy client.
I
So
see.
drama. It's definitely well reviewed. Yeah.
I mean, until now there were like it was limited playing limited things in my in my area. By the way, does it say that it's 3 hours and 15 minutes? It can't be.
I'm seeing 300 or 3 hours 34.
215 minutes on this weird movie?
Yeah.
Oh man, they're really not making this easy for me.
An epic period drama.
Ugh,
It's-
I don't know. Any movie that it's like 3 hours and 30 minutes, it's like it could get away with it if it's The Godfather, but just to have some
yeah.
weird artsy fartsy thing for 3 hours and 30 minutes, I don't know what to tell you.
A
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
starring Adrian Brody as the Hungarian-born Jewish Holocaust survivor who immigrates to the United States and struggles to achieve the American dream until a wealthy client changes his life. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. What I do know is that apparently, if I remember correctly, they used a form of AI that they've never used before, because they had the actors speaking Hungarian in certain parts of the movie, and because they felt that it doesn't sound authentic enough, they employed a new like AI technique that's never quite been used in this way. That
Yes, I'd heard
certain
that.
parts were tweaked to make their accent actually more convincing.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder about that, but I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know Hungarian, so they could talk however they want, and you'd be able to fool me. They could just say, "Ooh, taksumiki" or whatever. I don't even know if that's in
Yeah,
Hungarian.
I don't know. No idea.
Taksumiki?
No idea.
Let's see for a second. Taksumiki, Hungarian. I don't know. I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought it was Hungarian, but who
Never
knows?
never known anyone from Hungary.
I know. I thought I knew like
I've known
5
several
words.
people from Turkey, but I've never known anyone from Hungary.
Yes, that's true. In any case, it's a movie. Let's look at it for a second. So, Honora, the Brutalist. I am curious about the AI, but like I said, I wouldn't even know if they fooled me or not. Next, we have on the list A Complete Unknown. Now, A Complete Unknown is the Bob Dylan biopic.
Yeah.
And for those who are familiar with my main channel, I actually did do a review on that movie. It has Timothy Chalamet. I think you and I talked about it. I told you how I felt about it too.
Yeah.
I, I thought it was decent. It was a decent biopic, but it wasn't great. And I think that out of the actors that were in the movie, like the 3 main ones, Timothy Chalamet is the least out of the 3, in my opinion, acting wise. When it comes to performing the music, I'll give him credit. He put in a lot of work, and I think he did a pretty solid job in that sense. But in the parts where he has to act like Bob Dylan, I just don't quite buy him. There's something about him that, and I always don't know how, like, if I exactly buy Timothy Chalamet. It's as if he's not the worst actor ever, but also I haven't fully bought into this guy. So I just have like mixed feelings about him. He doesn't really wow me.
Yeah.
But I'm not a 18-year-old little girl. I guess he wows them. I just don't. It doesn't wow me. Or maybe young ladies, maybe in their 20s. I don't know. He's kind of the modern man. You know what I mean? It used to be that like a man was like, you think of, Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was like, you had like modern men, Bruce Willis. I don't know. Today, like the modern man is like Timothy Chalamet because he's really sensitive, and the ladies they love it. He like wears like pink knitted sweaters, and you understand.
Mhm.
That's what they like. It's fine. It's fine. That's it's what the ladies like now. I'm
Yes,
guessing.
apparently it is. I
Oh, I'm guessing he's dating a Kardashian. He goes and he wears like these kind of blouses or whatever. I don't want to say blouses, but you know what I'm trying to say.
no,
And in any case,
Zendaya's taken, so yeah.
yeah, and Tom Holland is also like that. Tom Holland is also like this generation. You think of like these younger actors. You have like a Timothy Chalamet, Tom Holland. I don't know why they seem so kind of like not full of like bravado and not macho. Think of the generations of like male actors before them. Maybe they're just a product of their time.
Yep.
But in any
It just
case,
seems like that's what they promote these days. Everybody wants that, uh,
metrosexual kind
yeah,
of
or something. It seems
whatever
even
that
worse
is.
than metrosexual. It's like, I guess today the word would be beta. I don't know, like, yeah, real follower energy, not so much,
I see that Istafopoulos
leader.
gifted one Price of Reason live membership. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Istafopoulos. Is very
he's gifted 3 now.
gifted
Yeah,
3. That's
3
very
3 in a
very kind
row,
of
yeah.
you. Very very kind of you. It's
Thank you, Mr.
super
Phobos.
nice. We appreciate that. Um, so I have Nurdic said. I think the word you're looking for is Percy. Is that character from James Bond? You mean yes,
Mm.
Percy.
Mm.
And so A Complete Unknown, not the worst movie. I don't think it's the best movie either, but really when I look at this list, what is a good movie here?
And prices disappeared. Yeah, I think there's something going on with, I think there's something going on with Rumble tonight. So, hopefully we don't get this too often tonight, but, yeah, it seems like there's a trend here. Uh,
I made a
so
mistake here, and I'll tell you what happened.
oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
I pressed a button on my
Uh-oh.
mouse that actually kicks me out of the stream.
Oh,
It was
no.
completely an accident.
Oh, no.
But you can hear me now, right?
Stream kicking button. Maybe you should put a sticky note on that next time.
It's funny. I have like I do have a stream kicking button, and I very rarely I press it. But in any case, I'm looking at the list. I haven't seen a Norm Brutalist. Maybe I'd love those, but really, honestly, out of all of these, A Complete Unknown starts looking like one of the better movies, even though it's not actually such a good movie. I think that Juror Number 2 was actually a very solid movie, and the fact that it's not here, And I think that I was talking about this with Tom earlier, that basically Clint Eastwood is already a million years old. He made a movie which was very, very good. Did you see Juror Number Two?
I have not gotten to see that one yet, no.
I thought it was a solid movie.
I've heard very good things about it. It's very
In a
enjoyable.
year where there was such crappy movies, I thought that was a traditional kind of good Hollywood production, the kind that Clint Eastwood knows how to direct. He did it at like age 94, better than most of the movies. I'm telling you, better than most of the movies on this stupid list. Uh, the fact that it's not even in the conversation, Hollywood should be ashamed of themselves. And it shows, again, their irrelevance and their shitty behavior. Sorry, Sean. In any case, so you have a complete unknown, which I guess compared to some of these other ones, it's the Bob Dylan picture. I didn't hate the movie. It always feels like it's not as good as it should be. Conclave, isn't that something with a priest? What is that one? I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so that one is supposed to be about a cardinal who is chosen to lead the process of choosing a new pope. And there's some wild conspiracy stuff that happens in the background. He's drawn into some sort of conspiracy in trying to pick the new pope. So, I'm not interested in drama in the Catholic Church, or wild theories and mysteries about the Catholic Church. So that one is just like a total non-starter for me.
I understand. It's not exactly the type of genre that I was looking for. It could be great. I just, you know how sometimes you have a list of movies and there's some that you
Oh,
just not
sure.
you kind of begrudgingly get to or don't get to at all?
Yeah.
That's what that feels like. It feels like a
Yeah.
movie that I could have seen. I just don't I kind of don't
Yeah.
feel like watching it, you know?
And I do like Ralph Fiennes. I think he's a tremendous actor. I
He is a
just
good
it's
actor.
not
He is a good actor.
yeah, just the whole thing's kind of like, I don't know. I guess it is based on a book that was published previously,
I
so
Is this like
uh
an anti I don't
I don't know if it's
is it like an anti-church thing? I
anti-Catholic.
don't even know. It's not that
I don't
it's
know.
I wouldn't not watch it, I don't know what the story is, it's not gonna keep me from watching it, but I just feel like I don't know with the Oscars, if they like a movie, it's like I start wondering why they like it, but I don't know. I haven't seen it, don't know much about it, just there's something religious there, and, I don't know if it's religious in an annoying way or religious in a way that's interesting, I just don't know. Uh, Maybe somebody has seen it, I admit that I haven't. Dune Part 2, I did see that movie. I don't think that that's, picture of the year material.
Yeah.
I think that it was alright. It wasn't even as good as the first one. The first one was
No.
more promising. The
No.
second one had a bunch of things that it did there that kind of didn't work. So,
Yeah, I had ongoing threads, arguments today about Dune 2. People were saying that I can't believe he wasn't nominated for Director of the Year. I can't believe this wasn't uh, uh, nominated for all these other awards and everything. And I just said I didn't think it was that great. It did not grip me. It didn't pull me in. I was bored. I thought some of the changes they made to the story didn't work. They left out a lot of what makes the impact at the end of the story worthwhile, with his son and with his sister being kidnapped, and everything that is happening at the end. They chose some other things from the books to focus on, and then just changed and left other things out. And
they
it
modern
just
date
didn't
it.
it didn't work for me. I didn't hate it, and visually it was stunning. I mean,
Right.
the special if it deserves to win anything, special effects were absolutely outstanding. But just as a film, I was left feeling kind of empty at the end. I was let down by it. And yeah, it's by no means a bad film. But
No.
I left the theater and thought, okay, I saw that. I'm not really like itching to go see it again.
It's
You
not
know?
award-winning material unless, like you said, certain
No.
visual aspects were interesting, but the thing is, and I think this is the elephant in the room, they basically, took a character that was supposed to be one way and revised it so that Zendaya can look like a girl boss, and that really just annoys me. It annoys me that they put her in every movie, and I said this in a review. I recently, I don't know, a few months back or when it was, maybe last year sometime, I reviewed that movie Challengers, and what I said was is that I feel like every script that's brought to Zendaya, the only way that her management will accept the script is if they make revisions that she looks a certain way. She has to look like a confident, competent modern woman, Doesn't matter that Dune has nothing to do with that. She has to look that way there. And then the thing that was Challengers, which was like a sports drama, there's two sportsmen that are supposed to be competing against each other, but in this movie somehow they're both like little poodles that go after Zendaya. Forget about that. You forget that they're even professional athletes. All they want to do is like they're so in love with her and they're such simps, and it's so annoying. And she's like the smartest person in the room all the time. And I'm like, what is this movie? You know what I mean? So I feel like every single movie, the prerequisite for her being there is that they have to, if she's not already, the bestest ever, she has to become the bestest ever. And the
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
confident, competent modern women, I feel like they did that to Dune. They did that with Dune as well.
Oh, yeah. But before we get to Amelia Perez, I did look up a little stuff about Conclave, since neither of us have seen it. So, apparently, some quotes from some bishops in the Catholic Church. It checks every woke box. Uh, if you're interested in a film about the Catholic Church that could have been written by the editorial board at the New York Times, then this is your
Okay.
movie. Um, uh, The hierarchy of the church is shown as a hotbed of ambition where conservatives are xenophobic extremists and all liberals are self important schemers. And then apparently, the end of the film is that a fictional, it's not a real character, but a cardinal who has an intersex disorder, therefore has female chromosomes, is chosen as the pope. So now you know why it's been picked for the Oscars.
You know what? I already told you that before you even read it. I asked you if that was the reason it was nominated, and you're just confirming it now. And I think we both knew it. They don't just, unfortunately, at this point, there's so little faith in the Oscars. They don't just choose a movie where it has some kind of religion thing. They only choose it if they can try to make it look bad.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not that I'm saying I'm not like some beacon of religion or anything like that, but all I'm saying is that I don't like it, and I don't care what religion it is. I just don't like it when these kind of movies are like, "Oh, you like religion? Well, what if we told you this? What if we told you that?" It's like all those movies to me seem rather disrespectful to whoever that religion is important to, whatever religion we're talking about. I think a lot of these movies come off as disrespectful and just kind of like here's a kind of middle finger to you. And I had a feeling that that's what this movie is without even looking into it. My
Yep.
instinct told me that that's what it
Yep.
was, and you just confirmed it, and you knew it too.
It fits the pattern, right?
It totally
It's
does. I see
exactly what
Kivo
you expect.
1961, by the way, in the Rumble Room, and Eraserhead also. So just wanted to shout
Yeah.
out to them. The Dead Man is here. Sean Green is the Phobos, who gave very generously the memberships. Just hi to everybody. I try to say hi from time to time. And yeah, so that's Conclave. We already know that's crappy. Dune Part 2 doesn't really deserve to be here. And then you have the big kahuna, Amelia Perez. That's the one that they've given apparently
Oh,
13 nominations to,
yes, the
because
most
it
nominations ever for a non-English speaking film.
right. I mean, basically,
Yeah.
they gave it almost the same amount as they gave, like, Titanic or something. Titanic, they gave it like 14 nominations. This, they gave 13. It's almost like a record holder for how many nominations it got. And I can tell you that this is not a movie that deserves all those nominations. The only reason it's getting those nominations is that because the story at the heart of this Amelia Perez story, it's
Yep.
basically a cartel boss male that decides that he wants to be a transformer, so he transitions into a woman transformer lady,
Yes.
and they just
There is
can't pass it up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially now that Trump said, that there was a man and a woman, they have to nominate it. You know what I mean? This is their big movie. They have to keep like pushing this from every direction, and it has to be so great because who doesn't love a mobster who for some reason now wants to transform? It's almost like a
Yep.
parody of itself. It's like if I was doing a movie now, which was a parody about Hollywood, I'd be telling you about this movie, and it should have been a joke, but instead it actually is real. That's how crazy our reality is that satire is no longer as crazy as the reality that we live in. We've left like satire behind
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
stupid movie.
yeah,
And I've seen a few clips from it. It just it seems so stupid. The only thing I'll say is that I like Zoe Saldana, but what I don't like, I even see these articles like, finally Zoe Saldana is going to get her due. Like finally she's being recognized. What? She's not being there's probably stuff that she's done that could be recognized, but not this. This is just some crap flavor of the month agenda peddling that they so desperately want to push.
yep,
And there's a few reasons why they want that movie, but
yep.
beyond the agenda, we'll get to the
Yeah.
other reasons.
We
I'm st-
we've got Matt Cat in the chat joining us. He has some thoughts on Amelia Perez. He has opinions.
where is Mad Cat?
Oh, is it not showing up over here
Oh, I
on
see him. I
the
see him
thing yet?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He-
the movie is stupid. The music is terrible. I only saw snippets of it, and it did look awful to me. But I don't know. Maybe some people like cartel bosses that sing and want to become women. I mean, suppose there's a target audience for that. I just don't know who it is. Anyhow, I'm still here. Remind me which one. Which one is I'm still here?
oh, someone was actually talking about this one the other day, and
Let me see.
I'm still here.
Let's see.
Um,
Plot. Blah blah blah.
oh,
Something with Brazil and coup
political
d'etat.
biographical drama based on a 2015 memoir.
Uh,
A mother and activist coping with the forced disappearance of her husband and during the military dictatorship in Brazil. Wow, sounds
there's also something about
really,
far left revolutionary movements or something like
yeah.
that. I don't know. I feel like if I really, I don't know what it is, but I feel like this is something where if we dig deep enough into this, Uh, here, the film was the target of an unsuccessful boycott by the Brazilian far right. Basically, it's an ultra left story of sorts. Uh, Maybe I don't really know the Brazilian history and politics or why it should interest me, but the fact that whoever's like more right leaning wanted to boycott this movie tells me that I guess it's very far left in its leaning, which is
Mhm.
probably the fact that there were, people on the right trying to boycott it probably immediately elevated it to Oscar status, if you know what I'm saying.
That seems about right.
They
Yeah.
sat there and they said, right people want to boycott it in their country. We got to elevate it. We got to give it a nomination. Let's make a statement here. And then you have Nickel Boys. Again, I didn't even hear of Nickel Boys, actually. These are movies that nobody has watched and nobody cares about. That's another thing. It's like, they're so disconnected. I think that in the past, Oscars, even if they were pompous, there were times that at least the movies had to be movies that somebody's heard of. You know what I mean? Some of these movies are so obscure that like made $1 at the box office. This is a case like that. This Nickel Boys. Do you know what the budget was?
I'm tempted to say it was a nickel, but
No, it was $23.2 million budget. Do you know how much
holy
it
hell.
made at the box office?
Uh, 2,000,000.
1.5 million.
Oh,
Although I
wow.
don't know if it's one
Yeah.
of those Amazon things. I don't know if they're trying to shove it in the thing, but let me see. Release. Okay, maybe I guess it was a more limited release. So fine. I'll give it
Yeah, small release.
I'll give it that. So I guess it was a small release. So I'll take back that statement. Even though that's another annoying thing, some niche thing for Amazon that 5 people watched and then they shove it into these award ceremonies. The only reason they release it for the minimum release thing is because they want to send it to awards. I don't know. I think that these movies
Mhm.
have to be movies that people actually want to watch them. It can't be that nobody's ever heard of them, nobody watches them, and nobody cares. But in any case, what's this movie about?
Apparently, it's about some students who were sent to an abusive reform school in Florida during the Jim Crow era.
All right.
So
S
it's more like,
More of that,
uh, yeah,
political stuff,
we gotta
whatever. Great.
get as much, racism in there as we can,
As much as you
and
can.
yeah.
Then the substance. Now the thing is that the substance, I've actually seen the substance. Did I tell you about this movie?
I've actually seen a few reviews of it, and some of them were really, really flattering. It seemed like it might be something really interesting. It sounds like it's very creepy, psychologically very kind of disturbing, but also really interesting and something different. So, yeah, what did you think of it?
I'll tell you what I thought. I thought it was a movie that was a rare occasion where if the movie is like 2 hours or something, I think that's what it is, the first maybe 90 minutes, maybe an hour and 40 minutes are solid. I thought, it's stylish. It has its own kind of story that it wants to tell. It kept me engaged. It kept me interested, and I felt okay. This is kind of cool. I like where they're going with this. It's kind of quirky. It's offbeat, but they've committed to their idea. You could tell that there's a competent director here. This is very interesting. And then I reached that final stretch of the movie, and it's as if somebody just like I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. I'll do this. It's as if you went to a car dealership and you said, some salesman's come out like a car dealer guy, and he does a whole song and dance for you. He shows you the car. You do a test drive. He shows you the car of that you want to buy, and you say, you know what, you've convinced me. I want to buy this car. I'll buy it. And you go into his office, and you're already there. And as you're signing the papers, he comes out and starts like taking a dump in the middle of the room for some reason. That's what this movie feels like. I don't know why they're doing that at the last like portion of the movie. Forget about taking a dump. He's basically doing everything to start making you second guess you even wanting to buy that car, even though you already sold. You know what I mean? He already closed the deal, and all he could do is damage the deal that he's closed. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Like the movie did what it was supposed to do. It had a perfect way to end it in a way that like is thought provoking, and I think is like comes off as like a satisfying ending. And instead, it's like, nope. Let's now do this kind of gross out 20 minutes of like nonsense that I feel like really derails anything that was taken seriously about this movie. I feel like maybe they watched some early Cronenberg movies, maybe those kind of The Fly, I don't know what, the Videodrome, and they wanted to kind of go all in this kind of gross out thing at the end, but it's so extreme that I almost feel like it doesn't get its point across. It just
Yeah.
I can't take it seriously at
Yeah.
that point.
It overstays its welcome. It's
In
yeah,
a
it
way,
gets to a point where it's told the story it needs to tell, and then they just gotta take it one step further, and it just ruins the whole thing,
the dead
right?
man says, I agree with you. I agree with Price of Reason. The last 20 minutes should have been cut. It was so weird. I haven't felt many times in my life that I watched a movie that I was already thinking, when I'm thinking about reviewing and whether I do a video or not, in my head, I'm always like thinking about how I feel about a movie, if something works, and me saying, yeah, this is pretty cool. I like what they did here. This is interesting. And I have a really good feeling about it. And I couldn't see it I couldn't see it coming. You know what I mean? Like I was genuinely shocked at the part with the 20 minutes at the end, shocked because they were terrible. You know what I mean? It's like, why did you do all this work to build something good and just to ruin it at the end? And I don't know. I mean, maybe some people will watch it and say, "Well, I really liked what they did at the end," and that's fine. I think most people will say what I'm saying, and even Dead Man in the chat, uh, Matt Cat is saying the end was a little weird. I didn't like that ending. Paper Mask thing was my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there is a certain thing. I actually don't want to spoil it all because it's kind of a cool movie. But there is a conflict happening between two. I want to say people because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. And there's sort of a climax where this conflict is really reached like a boiling point. And I feel like at the end of that boiling point, there is a way where you can finish the movie and really get your point across in a way that even is thought provoking. You get up and you say, okay, this movie is leaving me with some food for thought, and it's just there for the taking. It's like they're so close, and they somehow know they want this weird thing to happen at the end. They want to gross you out, and it's like, I don't know. Sorry. And some people will say, well, they want to be bold. They want to send their message. It's overkill. Whatever message they had, it's overkill. I mean, this movie, just so you know, it already has a certain message to it because there's like a bad let's say for example, there's this kind of crappy studio executive played by Dennis Quaid. His name is
Mhm.
Harvey. I wonder who they were referring to with the big time Hollywood executive that is a istinophobe.
I
You
could
know, his
not
name is
possibly
Harvey.
guess. Couldn't
But
possibly.
and they do a lot of stuff. This is very much a movie that, like, you know, focuses on how a woman feels in Hollywood, and how a woman is, like, at some point she's past her prime and things like that, which
Yeah,
I guess is a subject that they like to touch upon. The thing is that I don't mind if there's a message, even one like that, if the movie is done well. And this was a rare case that, until it just, like, shits the bed like 20 minutes before the end, it actually did a really good job until that point. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Dead Man Says Again, it's a really good movie und up until that point. Nobody will understand it until you see it. I mean, if you see it, Professor, I think that you'll understand what I mean.
yeah.
But
I think
that's the
I've
s
already had a lot of it spoiled for me, so I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody else,
No,
so
I didn't spoil. I was very quiet. I didn't actually spoil it. Anything I said, you can still go see the movie, but
yeah.
it won't change the fact that the ending is just a strange, bizarre thing. So you have the substance. I don't know, with those 20 minutes if I'd call it best picture, but at least it was a stylish picture. I don't think it's crap. The next thing we have on the list is Wicked. Wicked, I do think, is a crappy movie. I wouldn't give it awards. I think that they just threw it in here because it sold a lot of tickets. I highly doubt that this is going to win best picture, although who knows, but
Oh,
I don't think
they
so.
they love some Cynthia Erivo,
They love
though.
Cynthia Erivo because
They
she's so
love
stunning and
her.
brave, so maybe they like her. I don't know. I don't even know if that's gonna work. Best
Yeah.
director, Sean Baker and Nora. Again, didn't see the Pretty Woman with Russian oligarch. I don't know. Maybe it's great. Brady Corbett, The Brutalist. Haven't seen it. Don't know. James Mangold, A Complete Unknown. I did see it. I don't think he's getting this award. I don't think so. A movie about Bob Dylan, I just don't see it. There's so many stunning and brave things going on here. I don't see James Mangold getting an award for this, and I quite honestly don't even think he deserves it. But in comparison to some of these other crappy movies, maybe he does. I don't know. Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez. I feel like that's the one they're going to want to give this awards. They're going to want to give this thing awards. He did a Transformer. They love Transformers.
Oh, they do.
It's
They
more they're
really
more than
do.
meets the eye. So in any case, you have
I'm
that.
surprised we don't have, what's his name, Giulio whatever that wrote, Queer, that did Queer. I'm surprised
Yeah,
he's not up there.
Guadagnino,
Guaquinho, that's it, yeah.
that's they
He's not
love
up
that
there for
guy. They
Queer.
love
Yeah.
I'm surprised, actually. This is like a snub. I don't know what he did to not earn their, awards, because Guadagnino, or whatever his name is, he is their golden boy. They
Mhm.
love that
They
guy.
do.
So finally, you have Coralie Forged, for The Substance. I wonder to myself, who how does Coralie forget? I mean, it's obviously a woman. I knew it would
Yeah.
be, but in any case, I will say this again, you know, without her being overindulgent at the end and doing what she did, there was a lot of style to the movie prior, for whatever that's worth. Matt Katz says, Bob Dylan's music is trash. I wouldn't say that. I think that you know, it's fair to say that he's not the best singer in the world. A lot of times his songs were actually better performed by other people, but he did have a very unique style, and a very kind of eh, he has a unique style of songwriting, and a kind of unique character.
Uh-huh.
Can't really take that away from him. Like, as a musician, I have a lot of respect for him, but at the same time, you know, I recognize that, you know, I don't think anybody's claiming he has the best voice, or the best this, or the best that, but he is a solid singer-songwriter, mainly the songwriter part. That's just my opinion. But
Mhm.
best actress. But for example, take like All Along the Watchtower. Even Bob Dylan will tell you that the version that Jimi Hendrix does, for Bob Dylan, that's like the definitive version. For me
Yeah.
as well. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
As much Bob Dylan can sing that song on his acoustic or on a guitar all day. Uh, Jimi Hendrix, like in 2 seconds, just blows him out of the water with his own song. And I think, you know, sometimes you're a good songwriter. That's good. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I've heard some absolutely amazing covers over the years where you hear a performer that takes on a song and just makes it their own, you know? It's that's fine. And
Yeah, I mean, Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door, I think there have
yeah,
been other versions like Guns N' Roses. You can laugh all you want, but that's a version that's probably more known than like Bob Dylan's version, but it's fine. Also, there were things that he gave, I don't know, gave a bunch of different artists. There's throughout the years so many artists that would perform his songs, and I think that Bob Dylan is sort of a musician's musician. Maybe there's also people that grew up in that era that he's a musician, just a regular one to them. But a lot of people that I know that are musicians, they especially respect Bob Dylan because of the songwriting aspect. But I understand, not for everybody.
yeah, it may not be everyone's cup of tea.
But that's just my here. Istafobos says Dylan is an amazing songwriter, and we had Hostman's Lounge says his voice is so silly. Again, it's an acquired taste. I think that's the best way to say it is that he's an acquired taste. I personally, uh, I personally have situations or certain albums of his that I've had, over the years and listened to. I don't suffer from listening to him and his style and his singing, but I also understand the different comments. So people have acquired taste is a good way to describe him.
Yeah.
Best actress Cynthia Erivo, Wicked. Here I'm starting to agree with you, Professor. I feel like with Cynthia Erivo, they may actually. Oh, but wait a second. They would have given it to Cynthia Erivo, but then you have the bigger kahuna, the biggest kahuna, Carla Sofia Gascon, which I believe is a Transformer lady.
Possibly.
If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, that's the Transformer lady. So it's a person that in real life was once not a woman, but then she transformed into a woman.
Okay.
Kind of like Megatron transforms into a
Yes,
gun.
a transformer, you are correct.
She transformed into a woman named Carla, if you know what I'm saying, Professor.
Yes, yes.
So this is the biggest kahuna of the night. And I feel like Hollywood, if they're going all in, if they're doing their Hollywood thing, if they're going all in, they will give Carla Sofia Gascon, they have to give it to her. Which
Yep.
means that I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but I'm just saying that I wonder what's gonna happen then. I mean,
Yeah. I would give an outside shot to Demi Moore just for, like, a career type of, like,
maybe.
recognizing
Eh,
a whole career of awards, right? But, yeah.
to be fair, I didn't see Anora, I didn't see I'm Still Here, but I will say this, Demi Moore was good in the substance. Meaning, if this wasn't as politically charged as whatever I see here in the different identity politics,
Oh, yeah, sure.
right now I'm thinking the front runner is Carla Sofia Gascon, whereas second the runner up would be Cynthia Erivo. Then maybe Demi Moore the substance. In reality, I would have given Demi Moore the front runner. I think she did a really good job in that movie,
Yeah, yeah.
but it may not matter to anybody.
Yeah, I don't there seems to be a lot of people in Hollywood who really glommed onto that movie and really enjoyed it, so,
We'll
given
see.
its stance on women
D-
in Hollywood and so on.
Yeah, I mean because it's against like Harvey W types and it's like
Yeah,
girl power stuff. So
yeah,
maybe that's the reason that this thing somehow and it's a female director. So
yeah,
there's reasons that actually may help. Maybe with a director, they would actually give somebody like the substance because it's a female director.
yeah,
Female director goes a long way. They love female directors.
yeah. We have a super sticker from the lovely Six for $1.49,
Oh,
over on YouTube. It's
it's a
got a nice
peach.
little, yeah, nice little peach there, so yes, thank you.
Six is a friend of the
Six,
channel,
yes.
and I'm very, very grateful. She didn't even send that poop emoji this time. It was actually a peach, which is very, very nice of her. So then, back to this thing. Best actor. So okay, we see this list. Best actor: Adrian Brody, The Brutalist; Timothy Chalamet, Complete Unknown; Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing; Ralph Fiennes, Conclave; Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. Okay, so a lot to unpack here. Adrian Brody, The Brutalist. I haven't seen that movie. I'm not saying they couldn't give it to him, but I just don't think so. Timothy Chalamet is the one. When I saw the Bob Dylan ones, I thought that he would be at least nominated, and I thought that maybe the people in the Academy like him so much because he's so sensitive, and everything. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll give it to him. I personally thought that out of the people in the movie, he wasn't my MVP. Like out of the three main actors in the movie, I would say he's in third place. So I wouldn't give him the Oscar for it. I think that he did a good job when it comes to singing, a relatively good job when it comes to singing the songs, but I thought his acting didn't come off as believable as Bob Dylan to me. Next, we have Coleman Domingo Sing Sing. That's a movie that I haven't seen, but it's about him in jail, and apparently they're showing this movie to people in jail. So there's some kind of thing. There's probably like a social justice underlying thing going on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Coleman Domingo is a good actor. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Now, Ralph Fiennes is a good actor. He really, really is a good actor.
Yeah.
Will they give it to this anti-religion one? It's possible. Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. I tend to think they're not going to give him the award because I've
No.
seen clips of that movie and I wasn't impressed with him. I think that the main thing they're doing here is they want to bring The Apprentice back into the headlines, especially since there's a scene here where Sebastian Stan, as Trump, serves grape juice to his former wife or something like that. And
Yes.
Hollywood would loves that there's a movie that does something like that. So this
Oh,
is a way
yeah.
to sort of like, highlight this thing they loved. It's a little middle finger that they enjoy so much. This isn't a merit-based decision because I've seen clips and I've seen Sebastian Stan. I've seen like imitators online that aren't professional actors that have done like a better Trump than Sebastian Stan from what I could tell. I completely didn't buy him as Trump personally.
No, not even in you'd think in the clips that they put out for the film,
Yes,
you think of the trailer that they would really bring the ones where he's really selling himself
right.
as Trump, and if you weren't being told that's who he was supposed to be, half the time you wouldn't even know that's the impression that he's trying to do, that he's trying to make himself up as Trump. It's not very good.
Mad Catz and the Apprentice was a good movie. I don't know
Uh,
what to tell you.
okay, I don't know.
I don't know. It didn't look good to me. It looked like they were just trying to do like an October surprise or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
hit piece
They
kinda thing,
they
but
did a
who
movie
knows?
that right-wing people didn't go see, and even the left-wing people they were supposed to cater to, they didn't feel like seeing it either. But now, in order to put this in the headlines and be able to kind of, do like a middle finger to Trump or whatever it is, they have it here. It just feels very petty. I don't think it's gonna win. If I had to guess, uh, this one's a difficult one. I would say it's a toss-up between Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing and Ralph Fiennes for Conclave.
Hmm.
Ralph Fiennes is probably the guy that deserves the award the most, even though I don't know what that movie is and it's probably crap, but he is a really good actor. Uh, I don't know why I feel like those are the two. I'm going for Ralph and Coleman are
Yeah.
probably the front runners.
I do think that, there's an opportunity there for Adrian Brody. I think he is a fantastic actor. He's got a lot of, work under his belt,
He
and,
does, he does.
the thing is, I wonder if there's gonna be people who want to swerve away from the AI stuff, you know,
Oh, maybe
that
that'll be an issue.
not want to
That's a
nominate
good
it because
question,
of the
that's a
use
good
of
question. They'll
AI
be like, "Well,
in
technically,
film.
he didn't do it," and then who
Yeah.
knows? Best Supporting Actress, Monica Barbaro, complete unknown. Have to say, even in my review, I think I actually mentioned that I liked Monica Barbaro's work on this movie more than Chalamet, meaning she brought a little bit of character to her character that in a way that I liked more than what he did, and,
Sure.
she's not my MVP. We'll get to my MVP in a second, but she is the second best performance in that complete unknown movie. I think is Monica Barbaro. Then you have Ariana Grande, Wicked. That's just crap. Like nothing personal. I'm so not impressed. Felicity Jones, The Brutalist. I don't know. They like Felicity Jones. To me, she always looks like dry and boring, but maybe she's good in The Brutalist. Who knows? I've
Mm.
always thought that I don't know what people are so excited about Felicity Jones even in that movie, what's it called? Rogue One.
Yeah.
Not really impressed with her, to be honest with you. She's not the strong point of the
She's
movie.
kind of the least interesting character in the whole
She's
film.
very boring, you know what I mean? That's why I've never looked at her and said, "Oh, wow, she's really wowing me, this Felicity Jones." But what do I know? I mean, maybe she appears in movies that people sleep throughout the movie, so they're not sure if she's good or not in them.
Really,
Is
well, of course, Ben Mendelsohn kinda stole that movie, uh, but yeah, he stole the show in that. He was excellent as the villain, but
Right, in, Rogue One?
yes.
Yeah, she was just there. Honestly, the 2 leads, Diego Luna, which I've seen him in stuff that's more like, Spanish speaking, which I think he did a decent job in.
Yeah.
He seems out of his depth there. It's the same kind of problem they had when they brought Lee Jung-jae, meaning that I don't think that, Diego Luna is the worst actor. I think that when you have actors that in their day-to-day life, you can tell they're not speaking English all the time, and it's not even like a second language because they live in LA and they speak English to everybody and they have a bit of an accent. When it seems like, especially when they brought Diego Luna over there, that it's less than a second language. It's a language he doesn't use often. I think that it really comes through in his performances, and it's not a positive thing. Not in Andor and not in Rogue One, and it's the same way I feel about why were we talking about this? Because of Rogue One?
Yeah.
I don't know how I got it. No,
We
so in
we
any
got
case,
onto Rogue One because we
she
were talking about
right. I'm
Felicity
saying that
Jones.
she's boring in that movie, and you could
Yeah.
tell that she's like a dry piece of toast. Whereas if he needed to like punch it up and make it more interesting, he doesn't manage to raise the level of what's going on there either. And that may be one of the biggest problems that movie has, and it has a lot of issues. The writing of the first two acts is very problematic. The actors aren't charismatic enough to carry the movie, and at the end of the day, the movie is saved by a third act, which was reshot and done rather competently. That's what really saved it. Plus the member berries with Vader, maybe a bit of Peter Cushing as Tarkin, but really, it's a member berry movie that's just like we saw Disney doing these kind of manipulations later a lot, but that was early in the game, so we were still wowed by them.
Mm.
But moving forward, we have Isabella Rossellini Conclave. I don't know a lot about that. Anything is possible.
I
Zoe,
do remember I've seen some pictures. I will say, whatever they did to really make Isabella Rossellini look ugly, that's some pretty impressive makeup work. So maybe that's where that belongs. I don't know.
well, I mean, the thing is that they like it when actresses look ugly. That's something that they enjoy. So never underestimate that. If
Yep.
an actress like makes herself look ugly, sometimes they're like, "Wow, she looks ugly. Let's give her an award."
She needs
Uh,
an award for showing up ugly.
Uh, it took a lot of guts to look ugly like you do. Here's an award.
Yeah.
You're still stunning and brave. That's usually what they do. Yeah, exactly. Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. Again, I like Zoe Saldana. I really like her. I've always really liked her. It saddens me that she's in this crappy movie, and then for this one, they suddenly nominate her. There's certainly a lot of things she's done in the past. She's a good actress. I don't have any issue that they're recognizing her. I just feel like this is all for the wrong reason. She may actually win this. She may actually win this award for being in this stupid piece of crap movie.
Yep.
I was going to say something else, but I don't want to offend
Yeah.
Sean. So I was very kind of, but that's my gamble. She's my number one choice. Then probably maybe you're right. Isabella Rossellini is the runner up. And then after those two, I don't know. I don't know what to say. The other thing, maybe they like the Brutalist. I
Yeah.
think the I think Monica Barbaro gave a really good performance. I don't know if she'll win, but I really think that Monica Barbaro gave a good performance. Best supporting actor, Yura Borisov, Nora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. Okay, I think that Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice, they gave that because you know
Yep.
they wanted
We
again
know.
to put The Apprentice in the headlines. Jeremy Strong is a good actor. I think that out of the two, if they gave somebody an award, he'd have more of a chance. But really, I don't know why my instinct tells me that they'll give it to Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, just because I hear a
I
lot of
think.
buzz about it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie. I heard a few people that saw it and thought it was interesting. He is a good actor, and he does these kind of characters that he does. I will say that when it came to A Complete Unknown, Edward Norton is the MVP of that movie.
Yeah.
He is the best actor in the movie, hands down. Like everything that the other that like Timothy Chalamet can't do, I feel like Edward Norton does really well. Like there's scenes that Edward Norton, you just look in his eyes, he's not even saying anything and just kind of doing something with his eyes that he's kind of like his character is contemplating, and
Yeah,
you know exactly what his character is thinking. He has sold you that he's playing that character.
yeah,
Whereas I didn't feel that with Chalamet.
yeah. I don't know that he's necessarily like what you would call method, but he definitely tends to throw himself into his parts, and you can really see it on screen. He's absorbed in the character that he's supposed to be, which is why I really think he's a fantastic actor. It's frustrating that he hasn't gotten more opportunities. I do understand that he seems to be very difficult to work with. And of course, that's going to turn off a lot of people. But I really enjoy Edward Norton. I would love to see him get the award.
I like Edward
I
Norton.
think
I
he's
would
been nominated multiple times now. I don't think he's ever won. I think he's been nominated like four
for
or five times.
Birdman. Did he win?
No, I don't think he's won any of them. I know he got nominated once for American History X. Um, he did not win. Let's see.
Let's
Let me
see.
just pop it up real quick.
Does Edward Norton have an Oscar?
Norton has been nominated for 4 Academy Awards for performances as murder suspect in Primal Fear, neo-Nazi leader in American History X, egotistical actor in Birdman, and singer-songwriter Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown. So this is his 4th nomination. He's never won. Yeah.
Well, I'll
He's
tell
won
you
a
this.
Golden Globe, and he's won a Screen Actors Guild Award.
I'll tell you this. He's certainly worthy of the award. I think that he did. For me, like I told you, even if you watch my review now, and I did that without knowing any of these things, I basically said that I thought that he gave the MVP performance. I noted that I thought Monica Barbaro did a very good job. And with Timothy Chalamet, I said that I thought that he was good in the musical side, but I didn't quite buy him as Bob Dylan. And I stand by what I said, and I still think that he's the best. I would give it to him. But for some reason, I can't explain why. I feel like there's a kissing ass to Kieran Culkin, also a good actor. Not saying that he isn't. I think that Kieran Culkin is actually a good actor, but I would think that that's where the focus would be. I would be very surprised if they gave it to Jeremy Strong, Guy Pearce, or Yura Borisov, but you never know. Interestingly, Kieran Culkin and Jeremy Strong were both in Succession, and they played brothers there. And now, they left. That show is done, and they're continuing to sort of build upon that success. So at least I'll give them that. They are both good actors. Can't take that away from either of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're as good as Edward Norton, but they're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Guy
Uh,
Pearce is excellent. I really enjoyed
but
his.
Guy Pearce is also a good one. You
Yeah.
know what? This one is a very competitive category. I don't know anything about Yura Borisov, so I can't really say. But those other guys, I can't say that either of these 4 people here on this list are bad actors. Kieran Culkin, Edward Norton, Guy Pearce, Jeremy Strong, good actors. Have nothing to say. Best
Yeah.
original screenplay: Nora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. Trying to think what they would give here. It's interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And, it seems like the kind of thing like Real Pain might be up for, or maybe Brutalist. Original screenplay often, it seems like they tend to go with some of the more artsy things
I feel
for,
like
for screenplay.
A Real Pain, or The Substance.
Yeah,
September 5, the reason why I think it's there, it has something to do with, like, how those kind of movies that are tooting their own horn? So this one has, like, the
yeah,
legacy media, tooting its own horn,
sure,
if I understand correctly. Haven't
sure.
seen it. It has to do with, the attack that was on, the I think Israelis in Munich. I
Oh,
think
okay,
so. Maybe I'm
yeah.
wrong. I think that it has something to do with the attack on Israeli Olympians in Munich in 1972.
Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Chronicling the Munich Massacre in 1972 from the perspective of the ABC sports crew and their coverage of events. Yeah.
It's
So it's about the media.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even about the terrorist attack that happened. It's like how the media, like, how important they are when they report on stuff. It feels like one of those, like, self patting on the back of some sorts. Uh, I actually, it was one of those movies that I got, well in advance. I got like an invitation to come see the movie well before it was released, and I passed on it. I just didn't feel like it. I don't know. Uh, I actually take that subject. I actually take it seriously. I just sometimes these movies that I see, there's something about when I looked at the trailer and it looked like they were patting each other on the back. I'm like, I don't feel like watching. I just don't feel like watching like a circle jerk of like legacy media, which kind of felt like what the movie
Yeah.
was.
The
Could be
media
completely
talking
wrong.
about how fantastic they are and
That's what it felt like,
how
and I could
yeah.
be wrong because it's not the subject matter itself that I think, I actually do take that subject matter seriously. I'm saying it's the wrapper of like wrapping that story with the self-importance of the legacy media is what was kind of a turn off for me, especially.
Yeah.
The substance, is it a screenplay that's great, so great? I don't know. It's a stylish movie, it's interesting, but because of those last 20 minutes, I don't know. I think you're right. I'm gonna go with The Real Pain. I don't know why, but I feel like that maybe that'll be it. And it's by Jesse Eisenberg, so, maybe he'll get an award.
Although doesn't it have something to do with them going and visiting, like, visiting concentration camps from the
Does
Holocaust or
it?
something?
Let
Um,
me see. Let's see what it is. Okay. Uh,
traveling as part of a Holocaust tour group composed of a retired married couple, a lonely divorcee, and a survivor of the Rwandan genocide. Uh,
I don't wanna read the whole plot because I
yeah,
may watch it. I actually heard from a few people that this was
I yeah, same,
surprisingly decent movie.
same, yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, the fact that there is something like that in the background doesn't mean that it can't be a good movie. I just don't know the context. I was told that this was an actually a surprisingly decent movie. See, it's like a comedy drama.
yeah,
So even though there's something I guess more serious happening in the background with where they went and the tour they're going, Kieran Culkin usually when he appears adds like a bit of cynicism and kind of this humor. So I'm guessing that it's probably is a buddy road comedy drama of sorts. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I don't wanna judge it, but like I said, a
yeah,
few people have told me that it's not a bad movie, so that's all I can go
yeah.
by. Uh,
I was just thinking about the Hollywood attitude towards certain racial groups and certain events and stuff that might that people might not want to vote for that if it was
ah,
sympathetic to
right, I
certain
understand I
people.
understand what you're saying. With these days, with, how they like watermelons so much, maybe this would
Yes.
be the opposite of watermelons.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yes. Yeah.
Watermelon lovers may not like that one.
Mhm.
On the other hand, if Watermelon may not vote for that one with the press and the Munich thing, unless the Munich thing is so much in the background that, like, the press are just so great, maybe that's where why they would actually nominate it. Anyhow, best adapted, but I got you with the Watermelon, I know what you mean. Best adapted screenplay, A Complete Unknown, Jay Cox and James Mangold. I wouldn't give that an award. Conclave, I don't know. Amelia Perez, that they're at least considering this one
Oh
because
yeah,
they
definitely.
love this one. Nickel Boy is also another activist, whatever. Sing Sing, another one.
Yep.
If I had to guess, probably between Amelia Perez, which is the front runner, and then Sing Sing for some reason.
Yeah.
They like it. There's like, somehow I think it's about black people in jail or something.
Yeah. Well, is which category was that again? That was
Best adapted
screen that was your
screenplay.
screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. International feature, you don't even have to talk about any of them. Amelia Perez is gonna win for international.
International. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
She's gonna win.
Amelia Perez is gonna win, so you
Yeah,
don't have
that's probably you're probably
nothing else
right.
is even gonna come anywhere near
No,
the
no.
top of the list.
Best documentary feature, don't know anything about that.
No, I don't know anything about
Have
those.
best animated feature. You like The Wild Robot, that's
I really
probably why.
enjoyed Wild Robot. I think probably there's a good chance for Inside Out 2. People tend to really enjoy that one. I have not gotten to see the Wallace and Gromit, yet. It's on Netflix, but, I would like to find some time for it this weekend. We keep saying we're gonna sit down and watch it, and that doesn't happen.
I still have to watch The Wild Robot. You told me it's
Yeah,
good, and it's one of the only movies this, like, past, half year that I really wanted to see, but I couldn't get around to it,
yeah.
and I regret it. Best cinematography, The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, Nosferatu. You know, I guess, any of these I don't think this goes to, like, Emilia Perez. I think that
No.
it would be nice if they actually gave something not Nosferatu, which they completely snubbed. I think it's a good movie that deserved a lot more recognition than some of these
Oh, yeah.
pompous, dumb sorry, I don't want to say a bad word. Some of these pompous, shitty movies sorry, I didn't wanna
Sorry,
say a
Sean.
bad word.
Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean. You know what I'm trying to say. These pompous, annoying, artsy-fartsy movies with their messaging that nobody cares about, that nobody wants to see. Nosferatu was a legitimate good movie. That deserved much more praise than it got. The fact that I haven't seen a nomination until now, and it only got for like best cinematography,
Yeah.
is such a kind of middle finger to
Well, it's
anything.
yeah,
Any,
it's genre stuff though, right? I mean, it's like horror.
it's
The just
artsy
that
horror. It's
stuff
art.
tends to not get nominated for the
They gave
you
the
know.
substance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
This
you're
they gave
right.
the substance that's also kind of a horror movie. Nosferatu is is an artsy horror movie. I listen, I don't know if they needed to give all the awards to Nosferatu, but I think that it deserved more than it got until now. By the way, Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter, gives a fantastic performance in it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
heard that.
Willem Dafoe also I think is great. There's a lot of good things that happen in that movie,
Oh,
but it doesn't
I don't
matter.
know that I've seen anything that I didn't enjoy William Dafoe in. Willem is a fantastic actor.
Right, but I'll tell you this, is that, like, why am I mentioning Willem Dafoe? First of all, you're right, he's always good, but, like, there was that Beetlejuice movie, and I felt like he's so wasted here, and then, like,
Yeah,
after thinking, "Oh, they
yeah,
really waste this guy, like, they don't even give him good roles, I guess, anymore," and suddenly, like, they gave him, like, something to do in, Nosferatu, which was perfect for him, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, of course, it's Willem Dafoe. He's a great actor." So I just I like that they were giving him material that respected the level of his acting.
yeah.
Um,
Costume
that's
design, that's going to Wicked.
yeah, that's fine. I don't give it I don't
That's
care.
going to Wicked.
Yeah, it's going to
There's no
Wicked,
question.
and it's completely fine. I don't care. Give it to Wicked.
Yeah,
That's the award that Wicked deserves. I
yeah.
think that, like, I never wanna hear about it again or it being mentioned for any other award.
Oh,
You
but
wanna give
next
it
year in
cost
2026, you're gonna get to see Wicked 2
uh,
in all the,
so long, I
part
think they should
2.
already release it so we can get rid of it.
Yep.
Best film editing, Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked. Toss up for me, I don't really know. I
Yeah,
have no idea.
could be any of those.
Could be any of those. Press, production design, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, Wicked. Probably Wicked for some reason.
Probably Wicked, yeah.
I still think Nosferatu did a great job, but it's not gonna help anybody. Probably give it to Wicked. Best original score, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, The Wild Robot. I feel is Wicked an original score though?
They're counting it as so I think they threw in a few extra songs for the
Oh,
film so they could
so
count it
s so
as
maybe that one, there's a chance, I guess, I don't know. Best original song, Never Too Late, Elton John, Never Too Late, don't even know what that is. El Mal, Emilia Perez, Mi Camino, Emilia Perez, Like a Bird, Sing Sing, The Journey, 688. I have no idea.
I don't know which of the 2 songs from Emilia Perez actually has the lyrics in it about changing a penis into a vagina, but whichever one that is, that's the one that'll win.
You may be right. However, sometimes when they give 2 from the same movie, neither of them win, but I maybe in this case, they'll do an exception. Best sound, A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, The Wild Robot. Any of these any of these could happen. Maybe a complete unknown for this one. Maybe they'll end up giving them complete unknown something, but I don't know.
The only thing I remember from Dune 2 is the sound. 'Cause it's not true, but when I went to see in the IMAX theater, they had the speakers were turned up so loud, and it was so got those really bass, heavy, parts in the film where it's not just like explosions and stuff. It's like when they're on that planet with the Sardaukar where they're doing the chants and stuff like that. This is really low, like throat singing stuff. It was so loud, so shaking that there were literally people in the theater that were sitting next to me that they they got up and they said, we can't take this. We got to leave."
Right. I don't think it deserved, any of this praise. Best visual effects, Alien Romulus. I don't think so. Better Man. I saw the movie. Maybe that was actually pretty good visual effects. I don't
Yep.
know if it's going to win anything. Nobody even watched it. I'm the only person. Me and like Nerdrotic were the only people that ever watched Better Man. But
I've
uh,
seen a few people recently who've been mentioning it as it's gotten a little bit better release, a little bit wider release, and more people have gotten a chance to see it. So I know Vex Electronica, Vex was saying it's one of her favorite movies of the year. She absolutely loved it.
Better Man.
Uh, yeah, there was a couple of other people that I saw that
I feel like
uh,
they pulled it from
were
theaters.
talking
There's
about it.
so few people that watched it.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
they have completely backed off of. I guess they're not going to do any more marketing for it at all in the for the theater run. So yeah, I mean it's done very poorly. I was chatting with a couple of people earlier today about it, and I just said I think it was totally wrong for the US market, and it was marketed wrong. And I said, if you watch one of the trailers, you barely even knew what it was about. And if you went to read something about it, you're like, it's a musical biopic about some guy who was never big in the US, and he's a CGI chimpanzee instead of himself. Like it just like nothing with it. Like the whole idea just seemed to click. Like there was nothing about it that really seemed to be like, I need to see that movie. That sounds fascinating, right?
they
I,
made a bunch of mistakes, but I saw the movie. The thing is, they
yeah,
made a bunch of mistakes, and I'll tell you something. Even though I saw it and I thought it was a good, like it was a very decent movie, much better than I thought it would be. It's not that I think that it absolutely had to have that chimp. I mean, you have to be realistic. You're doing a biopic for a guy that at best has maybe some fans that still know who he is in Europe. This is a movie that needed to be made for like $25 million, and they made it for like $110 million, and that's the issue. Bring actors to
yeah,
play him. Remove the chimpanzee. Andre from Midnight's Edge. He told me this, and I agree with him. He said something along the lines of, "Make it a straight up biopic." And then in a few scenes that are either surreal or he looks in the mirror and kind of like in Quantum Leap, when he looks in the mirror, he sees himself as this chimp, but the rest of the time the world just, sees him as a regular person. He has this weird image of himself that he thinks that he's like a stupid monkey or something like
yeah,
that. And that would have worked because there's like, 2, 3 shots of effects in the movie where he looks in the mirror and suddenly sees himself this way. It could be sort of an interesting motif of how quirky and out there he is, and then for the rest of the time just get really regular actors to play him,
yeah,
and
and
then do the movie that way. And I think that with 10 $25 million you had a chance. Also, there's people that may like Robbie Williams in Europe. Forget about the American market, that they don't know who he is. In Europe, they let's say some of these people, not a million of them, but some of them know who he is and still care. You could tell them it's a biopic about Robbie Williams. Maybe they'll go see it, but this isn't what even they were told. Even
yeah,
people that liked him were like, "Okay, what is this movie?" It's like, "Well, it's kind of a biopic, but he's a monkey," and they're like, "Okay, I'll see you later." This is even people that liked him. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, yeah.
nobody
It's just
understands what
weird.
you want. It's like, "Oh well, I always thought I was a monkey." Not good enough. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's like it's just the marketing here. If they teach in business school, like things that people made mistakes in movies, the
oh yeah,
marketing here is a disaster,
and I
and it starts even with the budgeting the movie, the
oh yeah,
concept,
it's definitely the budget.
figuring out who the target audience is. A lot of mistakes were made, and I will say that even though everything I just told you, I watched it and I agree with Nerdrotic and I agree with Vex Electronica. It's a pretty good movie. I'm not saying it's the best movie I've ever seen, but it's definitely pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think honestly, it seems kind of strange. This is just my weird take, but if the whole idea is of replacing him with this CGI ape is to sort of have kind of a quirky personality kind of a thing, I it looks too much like it's supposed to be real. Honestly, when you're watching the trailers, like, so I'm watching a movie about a monkey that becomes a pop star. Like, it just I don't if maybe they had done something just even just maybe a little bit more strange, maybe if they had made it an animated character, like in a like a cell animated monkey or something, like, to be the main character. Maybe that would have had something a little more quirky that would have been a little more
or or
interesting other
or
than just a CGI chimp.
Or what I would have done is this: forget about Robbie Williams. It's not Robbie Williams. You call it Rockstar Monkey Man, okay? And that way, people from all over the world are like Rockstar Monkey Man, and then you don't say anything. You don't talk about Robbie Williams. It could be that Robbie Williams is one of the producers of it. You know what I mean? You then in interviews you could say, "Well, I gave a lot of inspiration from my own life, into this story." No, so whoever knows who he is, it's a little inspiration. You have like Rockstar Monkey Man, and maybe everybody's monkeys in the movie. You know what I mean? It's a world of monkeys where one guy wants to be a rock star and he's crazy and insane. He's the bad boy of pop, and you do it all with like these kind of monkeys, an animated movie. Maybe you do something like that. Maybe like you've said, 2D animation or like more animated, like cell type of animation. There's a lot of ideas they could have gone through, but somehow this hybrid of wanting to be a biopic about Robbie Williams, yet also that it's like a chimpanzee, like a ape or whatever it is. I don't know. It just
Yeah,
doesn't come together. I
yeah.
didn't mind it while watching it, but I don't think that the idea justifies its price tag
Oh, no, that price tag is way beyond what you should be thinking of for some biopic.
for sure.
That's just outrageous. You know, I'm interested. Like I said, I've heard numerous people say that it's actually pretty good. It's definitely something I want to pick up and watch once it's on streaming where I can watch it. But yeah, did not do
Pyromancer.
well.
Wait a second. I see some people on the Rumble side,
Yeah,
some interesting comments. Uh,
Pyromancer needs to ask for Sean's
Sean's
forgiveness.
forgiveness, yes.
His little
Ha-
rant.
Hashtag Wicked Lost Money. That's from May Contain Traces of Seafood. Pyromancer says, let me say for you, these MFing pieces of poo, effing lefty, you're really not helping your Pyromancer. These lefty trash effing movies shoving their darn modern audience BS down our throats. Yes, I understand what you're saying. You're not
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
I perhaps would have worded it differently, but we are on the same page. I know what you mean.
yep,
And then let me see if I missed anything else. Sorry, I try my best with the chat, but we've
yeah.
been going over this
I'm not
list.
seeing any
So
other.
basically, back here we were Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wicked. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes didn't look bad, but I think that Better Man was more special.
Mhm.
Out of all of these, I think maybe Better Man and Dune Part 2 are probably the top contenders. Best
I don't
makeup and hair.
know. Anytime Wicked is in the mix, there's a chance.
Yeah, always a chance. Best makeup and hairstyling. That I think they could give Wicked.
Oh, that's good.
Best
That'll go to Amelia Perez.
Amelia Perez.
Best
Best
hairstyling.
documentary short. I don't even know. Best animated short means nothing to me. Best live action short means nothing to me. So yeah,
Yeah,
we've gone over all the
yeah.
major categories here,
Animated
and
short will go to whichever one is the most woke.
that's true. Let's see. Now I'm just curious. Now you said it. We have to look. Animated short. Beautiful Men.
Oh,
That already
jeez.
sounds rather suspicious. In the
Magic
shot.
candies.
Magic candies. Wonder to Wonder. Yuck. I bet you're right that all of these are just like
Yeah,
insane
whichever
agenda
one
peddling.
is the most. Yeah, whichever one has the most agenda crammed into it, that's going to be the
That'll
one that's
probably
going to
win.
win.
Yeah. Well, that was the list of this thing, and then let's see right now what's on our list now. So, have Disney fudged their numbers again?
Oh boy.
So this is a thing now that today, and I want to thank Scribelight that I think initially Scribelight is a friend of the channel. He initially tagged me in this today, and this was very interesting. Let me just try to find this. Okay, I
Talking
think
about
this.
how they're saying that Captain America: Brave New World only cost $180 million.
Well, that's
That's the
exactly what
budget.
he was the.
Whoa. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, Scribelight
Not a
was sending
chance.
to me this morning. Yeah, that might have been its budget, but do tell how much was actually spent on the thing, and then he tagged me on it in the morning, and I definitely agree here. I mean, the initial shill thing came from Discussing Film, who are very much, I don't wanna use terms like commie shills, maybe that's not nice. I don't know
Yeah.
for sure that that's what they are, but, I mean, if it turned out that they were, it wouldn't surprise me. In any case, Captain America: Brave New World reportedly has a $100 million budget. The film is currently tracking to open 95 million domestically. They're already now the mainstream, media, and unfortunately, these Discussing Film guys are very much within that kind of, and have always been. Discussing Film, the reason why I don't want to be mean because it'll sound petty, but Discussing Film, the reason they're as big as they are today is that during those years when Twitter used to shadow ban everybody, they would just go to the studios, whatever it is that they can shill, they would shill. Whatever it is that is like the official explanation of studios, they do it. They'll never question. They'll never be like, hey, why did you just make this number up? Why did you this? You'll never hear that from them. And I think that by the time, Twitter was taken over by Elon, they had so many people because all those years when people like us were being suppressed, Discussing Film was being boosted. They were like the ones that were everybody was cool with because they went and they did the ass kissing to all the studios proper, and they get invited to all the screenings and all the reviews and all the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why when I see this tweet, like I know that they're a part of the establishment. They're not. They're nobody with a straight face could say that this cost $180 million. This is only people that are like already part of the agenda. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, there's not a chance.
Right.
Again, yeah, maybe this was the original budget. Maybe that was the original set budget that they set on paper, but there's been some others that have had similar, similar budgets that, they ended up being wildly,
Right.
out
This is
of that range. See, I was looking at,
the Marvels.
where
This
did I
reminds
see
me of the
this?
Marvels. I know that they kept filming this movie over and over again. They did that with the Marvels. The Marvels ended up being at least like $300 million. I can't imagine that this movie is less than 300 million. At least.
So, yeah, so the Marvels, they had initially claimed a budget of 200 million. It ended up costing 374 million. Same with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That was originally a budget claimed of 200 million, and it ended up costing 388 million. So yeah, okay, maybe your original budget was 180. We go by this, your budget was at least 350 360 million dollars after your costs anyway. And those films didn't have to go back for reshoots like 4 times. So
Right. There's no way. There's no way. This one is a 3 to $400 million production for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's
It,
got to be close to 4 at this
And
point.
by the way, they did the same stupid thing with Rise of Skywalker. They're like, "Oh, it only cost you 1 million." But at the end, Rise of Skywalker, and it took a really long time for them to admit it, cost like 400 and something million. So all this idea of like how great Kathleen Kennedy and it's still over $1 million budget, $1 million at the box office. Yeah, it's still over $1 billion when it cost 400 and something to produce. That means that you needed to make like 1.2 billion or something to break even 1.1 billion. I think this movie, I don't even know if Rise of Skywalker broke even in the theater. But nobody told you that then because they lied about the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know they were still doing reshoots on Brave New World in November.
Keep doing it. They're probably doing them now. As we speak, they're still reshooting it.
Well, they haven't. We know that it hasn't gotten an MPAA rating yet, which means that the film hasn't been turned over to the ratings board. So it's not done.
They're
It's not
frantically
done.
they have so many people now, working in basements in like the Philippines or something,
Yeah.
working on effect in Romania, working like on effects.
Well, they cut most of the Red Hulk from the film, so that's going to cut down on their effects budget a little bit.
Well, I heard that rumor too, but they keep putting him in the commercial. I don't even understand what this whole stupid thing is. I think this is going to be such a stinker. I
Oh,
really don't know how they're going to salvage this thing.
yeah,
I
it's going to be an absolute bomb. It's there's no way this is gonna succeed in theaters. There's not gonna be word of mouth for this, not good word of mouth anyway. Uh, you may end up getting more people going to the theaters to see it for the same reason you got people back in the theaters for Madam Web. They just wanted to see the train wreck.
Even that was mostly YouTubers, but yeah, I agree. But I think that this is absolutely a lie, in my opinion, and this is just Disney doing their damage control. It annoys me so much that they do this each time just to kind of appease their investors. No, we only spent $100 million. Don't worry about it. And then only a year later they'll admit that it was like 4 times the money. It really is annoying. I don't know how they manage to do this each time and nobody says anything, but it is what it is.
No, that's yeah, Hollywood, Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I guess we went over that. So that's the annoying
Yeah.
thing.
Yep, but we only got a couple of weeks before that one's coming out, so, yeah, get your popcorn bucket ready for that one.
Istofobo says they've shot 3 complete films,
It
and
seems
then
like it. It does seem like, if you listen to, oh, who's it? Tim Blake Nelson? Is that the actor? Who's in it? It's basically said he shot the whole movie and then had to come back and basically shoot all his scenes over again because he changed so much of it. He basically had to shoot his part of the film twice.
I believe it. Badfoot said Disney will buy the cinema tickets, and then, what happens is that Issophobos said, like they did with Mufasa. By the way, I want to say something. Uh, I don't know if this is true, and the reason why I didn't, until now, I haven't mentioned it. Somebody anonymously, and I take these things really with a grain of salt. To say grain of salt, I'm adding so many disclaimers here because I myself don't know what to believe. I'll say that somebody anonymously reached out to me and said something along the lines that he works in a movie theater and that his opinion that there's something fishy going on with the ticket sales for Mufasa, that he thinks that some kind of hanky panky was done in order to boost the numbers, especially when you had this kind of Sonic thing going on. It was very important to show that these numbers are looking good. I don't know if that's true. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I'm saying that somebody reached out. I then actually tried to, ask somebody that we both know that would have some kind of knowledge. He wasn't sure. So this wasn't a situation. I tried to verify it with another person that works in this field, and he couldn't give me a decisive definitive answer. So
Yeah,
I didn't walk away knowing if this is true or not, but I decided for whatever reason to say that somebody anonymously, the reason I say it is that it wasn't just like the typical spam. It looked like somebody who wrote a thoughtful message to me trying to explain it to me, and he didn't seem like a stupid idiot, but at the same time, I don't necessarily know that he brought some concrete proof here aside from what he was saying that he felt that something seemed off. What do you think, Professor?
yeah. I mean, I'm never gonna count Disney out when it comes to some sort of shenanigans in theaters. We know pretty much with certainty that they were buying up tickets in theaters when Captain Marvel was out. There was a lot of people who are
Something was weird there
reporting
that it was
something
empty.
strange that, they would show up to a theater where all the seats looked like they were sold, and then there was only, 15, 20 people in the theater. That all seems very, very fishy, and I would not put anything past them to try and, boost their numbers for their films.
And that's
They
what
are pretty desperate at this point.
I agree. The person in the anonymous, message was saying something along those lines that it was kind of reminding of what was seen in the Captain Marvel time. Again, I don't know what's right or wrong. I'm not even saying that this is even a rumor. I'm just saying I got an anonymous tip. Don't know anything about the person that sent it. It could be a person that's sitting around and doing like candid camera. You know what I mean? Maybe
Sure.
that person is sitting around listening to me now, having a good laugh saying, this guy is so stupid. I sent him an anonymous tip and he actually read it. So I could be stupid. I'm just saying that I got it and I don't know if it's true or not. And probably was even irresponsible for me to say, but it's been on my mind. So I said it. I have no idea. Also, I'm not a type of person that like every time I come on a stream, I say something like this. It's very rare. I also don't think I'm the type of person anybody confides in. Like That's why the whole thing is fishy, you know what I mean? Like, why
Yeah.
would this person even DM me out of all people? But
Yes. Well, we do have an anecdote from, Istphobos in the chat, who says, "At my local theater, I personally looked into the Mufasa showing when we saw Sonic 3. Mufasa was sold out, but there were only 15 people in the theater."
so here
So,
it's I wouldn't rule it out. It's like what Professor said. I don't know when somebody gives you an anonymous tip, and even with it's the Povos, I trust his opinion and what he's saying. All these things sound, certainly interesting. I just don't know enough. I don't know. I think that if you have a theater and you know who bought tickets and you can really see, you know all the data, maybe you can reach a really decisive conclusion with like actual concrete numbers. Otherwise, I think it's people with instinct, like it's the Phobos, like the person that wrote me the, an anonymous DM. It seems like it's more of an instinct, but who knows? In any case, that was Disney and their strange wasting of money. And then the final thing that I think we had to discuss here today. Uh, okay, got some real life stuff to do. Have fun, everyone. Thank you. May
hey,
contain traces of seafood. You have a good day.
it's a great name.
So here's the thing: Estefobos says it's not a rumor; it's true. I got similar stories from several people. I totally believe it. I mean, I didn't read the anonymous tip and think to myself, "It's not possible. It's not possible." Like I honestly, with Disney, I actually believe that it is possible. But I don't want to be I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and YouTubers do whatever they do, but there's some that really, their whole thing is that they rely so much on on rumors and scooping and talking and whatever. And I don't really usually take up that position. If it's something more concrete, then I know I'm happy to share it. When it's more of kind of a not speculation, but uh, people kind of giving something, but I can't see the data, which is what's happening here. A number of people have said this, but I don't have the actual data. All I can do is speculate and say that something seems fishy, but I don't know for sure. That's the best I can do.
Now,
Uh,
let's see, we got a couple of super chat things going on over on YouTube.
the dead
One, we've got
man,
a,
the dead man
um
says I have an anonymous tip that Price of Reason is such an awesome guy who makes so many videos. Thank you, the dead man. I appreciate that.
yes, Isphobos is giving out 2 more Price of Reason live memberships.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you for that.
Estephobos.
And then, we have, Tim Hayes, member for 1 month at the Leapers level. Got a little milestone in there, so yeah,
It's a
fantastic.
funny story with this Phobos. He one day reached out to me and he said that he knows all the ins and outs of TikTok and he's an expert in it. What's happening with TikTok? I think maybe I'm wrong now. And I said to him, I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but as it became more of an issue with, banning it, not banning it, I'm like, okay, well, we are going to talk about it. So he was here on the stream, like he's listening to us, and I'm like, you know what, this would be a cool time. Maybe he wants to hop on and talk about TikTok and the ban and all that stuff. So I sent him an invite and I said, "Hey, we're talking TikTok. Do you want to join us?" And like a minute before I sent him the thing, he fell asleep.
Oh,
I
oh,
did invite him though. I
yeah,
remember on the stream I told you, "Oh, like
yeah,
Estefovas knows about this TikTok thing.
yeah,
Let's talk to him." And
it's
then
all
he
about it.
disappeared.
Yep. And he also said, here, Isphobos said, like, buying out tickets and stuff, for theaters is actually not a terrible use of marketing dollars. They can spend hundreds of millions, but get half the money back. From what I understand, there's actually some other motivation behind doing that beyond just, like, saying, "Hey, we sold this many tickets," or making sure theaters look full. As I understand it, part of it has to do with, as a distributor, keeping the theaters happy. 'Cause they have to, like, pre-order films and stuff for, certain fill up a certain number of theaters, and there's all sorts of stuff they have to do, and, I don't know all the ins and outs of this, I don't know all the details specifically, this is just something that I was, talking with someone about, and they were saying that, there's when they're buying out a bunch of those seats, yeah, it's about, like, trying to make it look like they're selling more tickets, but it may also have to do with them keeping the theaters happy. that if they've got movies in there that are not filling seats, then you get theaters that are upset, and then they don't, they don't put your films on as many screens. So it might have something to do with that too.
Totally. What was I going to say? So, yeah, I saw somebody here that was saying hi to me. I feel like Estefo was fell asleep now when I told the joke. I was telling people that. Oh, here he's back. Yeah, they keep
I know about ByteDance.
get to
Says
keep
Estefo.
the moving playing in theater. Yeah, they got the movies playing in theater longer. I wouldn't put this beside them. I'm not saying that I don't think it's possible. It's just that there's two separate things. There's one that I could say, listen, there's something fishy going on. Like people were laughing that it's me saying fish, but something fishy going on. Absolutely, I totally sense it. But I don't have. If I owned a theater and I had all the receipts, I would have a better time, kind of getting to the bottom of this. As of now, can just go with what Istophobos was saying with other people is that there's many people reporting on such a thing, but it's a lot of it based on instinct. It is what it is, though.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I think that for our final topic of discussion here, Professor, we have is Ubisoft doomed? Ubisoft doomed after Assassin's Creed Shadows? Because I feel like there's more problems with this game with every day. There's more. Every time I look, there's some other issue. I don't know. Now they're testing it. There's bugs. They have delayed it. They're delayed it to March. Do you know anything about what's going on? I feel like
Yes, I've read a couple of things today. Specifically, I do know that yes, they originally it was going to be out for in February. I think was it a Valentine's Day release, I think, that they were pushing for, or something. I don't know. But they were pushing for February, and then they said, no, you know what? They wrote some letter about how we're going to take a little more time to make sure that our game is ready and polished, and it's going to give the best out of the box experience for everybody, day one experience. And then apparently, sometime over the last few days, on their Twitch channel, they were streaming some gameplay with a few different people, showing off their newly improved game with all of these bug fixes and polish on the gameplay and everything, after they have reportedly invested somewhere in the area of $20 million in this, since it was originally intended to have released back in November. And they've dumped a bunch of money into it, a bunch of time into it. And apparently, that during the stream, well, here, actually, you know what? I might have a video for you here. So let me see if I can share this real quick. So yeah, this is from that Park Place, and we've got a little video here from that Park Place. We'll zoom in a little bit. So this was during the stream. You've got a few different people here from Ubisoft, including the game director, who are talking about the game and kind of checking out this new and improved version of the game. So here's some gameplay. Can you hear it?
As
Sounds
now
good.
yeah, I can hear it.
Second. Hello,
Oh,
buddy. Hello.
hello.
Come here. Come over here.
He's not sure.
He's not sure. We're not cool like that yet. Don't worry, I
Doesn't
will
trust
earn your.
So there was a couple of things, I guess, that caught some people's eye, but that they tried to walk up to the dog and pet it, and then at one point you can see there's an icon that says, "Oh, you can pet the dog," and when they try to pet the dog as the Naue character, the female ninja, which there was no such thing, there were never female ninjas, but when they try to go up and pet the dog, like the game like doesn't work. Like the dog just sort of gets stuck there and they can't pet the dog. So $20 million. There's been some improvements that have been made, but clearly it's not been particularly well polished. There's going to be a lot of glitches and bugs and stuff coming out along with the game when it arrives here in a few weeks. I do believe, yeah, it's supposed to be like March. Well, when is that release supposed to be? I do think it's supposed to be in March sometime, but yeah, over the next few weeks or next month or so, whenever that comes out. honestly, March 20th is the new deadline for that. So I don't think there's anything they can do to make this game interesting. Price. I don't think there's anything that they can do to improve the reputation of this game so that people are actually going to buy it. You're going to have the same shills who are going to buy it in the first place. They're all going to go out and they're going to buy it anyway. But I just don't see them fixing enough of this to actually bring players back after all the damage that they've done with their insistence on choosing a black protagonist in Japan, their insistence on saying, "Oh, he's a real historic character, but we're going to change stuff about him that we don't actually know, like making him gay." I, I, it seems like so much wasted time and effort. I don't think that $20 million investment is going to pay off for them at all in
Well,
trying to make this more sellable.
before we go, I actually I sent you, Estefobos, an invite because I know you like these kind of conspiracy things. So if you wanted to talk a little bit about the JFK thing, I gave you a link, but I don't know. I don't know. He disappeared after he said that. After he said that, he was gone. I
He's
thought maybe
kind
we can kind of that'll be the last topic, even though it wasn't on our agenda.
yeah.
But it is interesting that he now declassified today everything.
Yeah, did
And
you actually see him signing off on that
I
when
saw,
he's
yeah,
finished at the end? He says to make sure to give that pin to RFK Jr. So
yeah. No,
you
it
know,
was an interesting moment. You
yeah,
know, it's something that I've always wondered about. I mean, really, to be honest with you, I don't even wonder. People have been kind of scratching their heads for so many years as to what could have happened. And for me, I don't know. I don't know if it's already okay to say what my opinion is. Maybe they'll unclassify and it'll be something completely different. But I always feel that there's a few things that happened on the JFK one that are really, if it's like a Law and Order episode, there's a few things that you immediately start looking into, yet nobody ever talks about them.
yeah.
Meaning, who's to without jumping to any conclusions, but who is the person that benefits the most once he's out of the picture?
Yeah, you always have to ask those types of questions. Who's going to be the one
Right, and here
really
there's a
benefit? Yeah, that's just like when we say, follow the money, right? Follow the power, follow the dynamics going on. Who's going to be
right.
the one to?
It's like
Yeah,
if it's a marriage, usually if like a woman dies, it's like where's her where's her husband? You know what I mean? Or if it's a husband that slips and whatever and
sure.
mysteriously, like where's the wife? And then there's usually like an insurance policy or whatever it is. In this case, it's a situation where one guy is like the leader of the free world. Something happens to him, he's no longer that. There's other people. I see that Istophobos is here, but I can't hear him. You have to enable your microphone or
Yeah.
use OBS, which I'm not sure that you do.
So, I will say, just kind of looking at the order.
Can you-
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Hey, it's the Phobos.
Hello, guys.
Hey there.
I see that I'm going to have to try to find a way to import you into this thing. Give me a second.
No
See.
problem.
Hold on one second. Okay. Professor, tell some jokes.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, if you're looking at the actual order that was made today, it is kind of interesting. It talks about it says, "I've now determined the continued redaction and withholding of information from records pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy is not consistent with the public interest, and release of these records is long overdue." And it talks about declassification. I can talk. Declassification and disclosure. It says within 15 days of the date of this order, so that is today, the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General shall, in coordination with the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and the Council to the President present a plan to the President for the full and complete release of records relating to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And then it goes on. It says a few other things. There's another thing within 45 days to talk about the Reverend Martin Luther King and so on. So we can start to expect to see some of this stuff. Obviously, they're saying they're essentially asking for a timeline at this point. There needs to be a timeline handed out within the next 15 days for JFK's stuff, the next 45 days for some of the other records. But yeah, it looks like probably sometime soon we will actually start to get to see some of these unredacted records. So yeah.
And
interesting.
there are already people that are setting up AI in order to scan and go through all the material to summarize it. So it's not going to take 2 weeks to go through all the stuff. People are getting ready for this.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that are very interested in finding out what they can from some.
The question is, has somebody sanitized these files already? That by the time they're declassified, we're just going to get some kind of very monitored and very watered down version of this, or we're getting the real deal?
It's hard to know, but I have to think. I mean, we heard stories about the Biden administration, hiding and shredding and getting rid of a lot of stuff, but some of this stuff has been archived for a very long time, and it may not be so easy to destroy, but not to sort of create mock-ups and fakes, not of contemporary sources of, 50, 60-year-old material. But I'll tell you, RFK, of all people, is really interested. I mean, that's his dad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's interested. It just, the first time that they killed John F. Kennedy, that was one thing. And then when they got RFK, really started looking like a pattern here. So it was hard to ignore that. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they did it once and then they did it again really raises a lot of questions.
Oh, absolutely. And, I just have to say this. I hadn't always been a Trump supporter. In fact, I was pretty much a sufferer of TDS, but I got cured. And I have to say, just in these last 3 days, I'm so impressed at how much he's gotten done that he said he was going to do. I don't recall, I can't, let's see, who was before Carter? I've been alive through like 7 presidents. I don't recall anybody taking off like this in the first week.
As the administration continues to sort of repeat their refrain, seems to be promises made, promises
kept. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We said we're going to do it, and we're going to do it.
The only thing is that I think a lot of the stuff that he's doing, not this thing maybe, but there's other stuff that there will be pushback, there will be lawsuits trying to stop him. I don't think that every executive order that he's trying to push here is just going to magically happen, but at least he's making his intentions known. And from the second he arrives, the things that he said are important to him. He's at least already doing the executive orders and trying to push them. So if nothing else, it shows his intentions. And I assume some of these things will get through. Some of the things are going to be a battle, I assume.
And they are all going to be challenged. I think every single one of them.
Probably.
But I do have an interesting insight on what he's doing about the 14th Amendment, if you're curious.
Go ahead.
Sure, yeah.
So the actual wording, the 14th Amendment was created. It was slavery. It was to give former slaves legitimate citizenship. It was never meant to kind of do what it's been doing over the last 30 years, but the actual wording says to people, beings under the sovereign administration of the United States government. So there is a legitimate interpretation of that. And look at the Supreme Court, that illegal aliens are not actually under the sovereign administration of the U.S. government, in which case they would not be eligible for citizenship.
Yeah.
It's
It
like
says-
any law, it's all about interpretation.
Yeah, and I don't think that I do not think that this is a stretch in this interpretation either. There's a number. I've actually read a couple of constitutional scholars who are saying, yeah, this is totally reasonable. If this goes through the courts, goes to the Supreme Court, and they say, yep, that is a completely reasonable understanding of of what this looks like. What could even happen if this is proving very popular, people are very interested in this. It could go to Congress, and they could say, this is how we are interpreting this. But yeah, it says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction of.
Yeah,
That's the actual language. And so what they are saying in that actual order is that the way that should be understood is that it needs to be somebody who is a subject, who is someone who is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, that is, being a citizen or a naturalized citizen. And those are the only people whose children would get automatic citizenship. Not people here illegally, not people here working on visas. Only people that have green cards, only people who are citizens. So yeah.
That is not a stretch. Do you know Joe from the Good Logic channel? Good Logic.
I've heard it. It's not one I keep up with regularly, but yeah.
Well, he's done some constitutional law, and so has Ron Coleman from over, on Valiant Renegade side, and they both say it's not a stretch, and we've actually seen way worse or more egregious interpretations of laws and amendments. So, I mean, this could actually people were saying you would need another constitutional amendment, and those are very difficult to ratify, but
yeah.
Change the interpretation, you change the law, and if there's any court that would do it, it's going to be this one.
Yep. So this has already been challenged in court, and so there's already a federal injunction from a federal judge. And it's funny, someone actually asked. It's amazing, honestly. In these last 3 days, Trump has spent more time in front of the press, just taking questions, than Biden has in the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just sitting there, just taking questions. Hey, yeah, what do you got to say? Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, what you got a question? What? Yeah, no, he
doesn't need to consult with anybody. He's not reading off a teleprompter. It's really just him shooting from the hip.
And he doesn't have people coming in from the sides, grabbing him by the elbow and leading him off stage to get him to stop talking.
And
right?
He's not being fed word salad through his earpiece.
His earpiece. No, he's up there and he's winging it. And he feels much more self-assured. Price and I were kind of talking about this on Tuesday. He feels much more like he's on top of it. He's not too worried about maybe the impression he might make on people or whatever. Like he's going to be himself and he's going to get things done. But he was talking about the injunction against this, and he's like, yeah, they took it and they gave it to some dirty judge, I think in like Seattle or something. And it's what you'd expect. So yeah.
You notice how much more calm he is? Like he's that no one's shaking, no one's breaking his cool, man. The reporters are insulting, and he's like, no, you sit down. You may owe me an apology there. Like he hasn't lost his cool a bit.
Yeah, it's great to see. Yeah. I mean, and I've said this before. Some people may like him or may not like him, but for me, I think it feels better when there's a person that knows what's going on and is sitting there and he's in charge than somebody that clearly.
Oh,
did we lose?
Did we lose Price? Did he get dropped out? He bumped the button on his mouse again. Oh no!
I've been trying to change my avatar. I don't know how to do it.
Oh yeah, in this platform, the only thing you can do is you either have to have a camera or you have to use OBS for a virtual camera. It doesn't let you do like a StreamYard's avatar or anything.
Price was cracking me up. He was taking my little picture and putting it on the top of his head. That's why I laughed earlier.
Oh yeah, no. Now I think it's okay again, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, for anybody who's interested, by the way, I mean, I believed everything that I had heard about Trump, but what got me was the, find people on both sides thing. And I believed the media. And once I looked at the clip and realized just how deceptive they were being, like the veil was just lifted, and I started going back and seeing all these things that I really believed about them that weren't true. It was simply, and since then I've had a hard time trusting any media sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Once you see sometimes it takes that just that one thing that you look at and you're like, huh? I don't see that at all. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah,
and honestly, I think that happened to a lot of people during this last election cycle, when every day, every newscast, you were being told that, oh, Orange Man, no, he's the mustache man. He's going to lead a revolt, and he's going to tear down our democracy. And then every time you'd see him do Joe Rogan, and he's just like sitting there chatting it up, talking about MMA or whatever, and they're like, he doesn't look like the mustache man. He doesn't sound like the mustache man. All these other people seem to be okay with him. I'm not sure. I don't really get why everyone is saying this stuff.
You know who sounds a little like gerbils? Who sounds gerbily? When AOC talks, she actually sounds a little mustachy. Like,
yeah,
she's
so
been watching
weird.
gerbils.
She is so strange. Look, you see this crazy look in her eyes. There's something not right about her, in my opinion.
And they
bishop.
Oh, go ahead.
That bishop had the same look at the church service. If you look at her eye, that's her AOC's eyes.
Yeah,
just the blue version.
That look to me is crazed. This is how I translate that look. There's something not right going on there. But yeah, I love that. It seems like they've really been pushing AOC the last few days. Like no other Democrat has anything valuable to say, or potentially even like constructive. Like, no, the only one we want out there is AOC, and she's just going wild on the stuff she has to say.
And she's had her own hand gestures.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. She really hated when people started posting her little hand gestures and saying, wow, look what I'm seeing in this clip, AOC.
And slowly, so even my liberal, because, I have a lot of liberal friends, and slowly, if they listen to me long enough to actually go check it out for themselves, but even they're admitting that, wow, it really feels like Trump's like all about action.
Just getting things done.
Yeah, I said, don't listen to what he said. He's a stand-up comedian. It's a shtick. Don't listen to him. Watch what he does. Like, once you realize that Trump is doing stand-up, like, it really puts all that other stuff in the context.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, Gulf, invading Greenland, Gulf of, like, it's a shtick, man.
Yes, it is.
I mean, if nothing else, he's a showman, and he's rather amusing. I still don't know. It's not that I know that all the stuff that he promised he could do, but I think that there is a feeling that at least there's somebody that's in charge, that he at least is aware of his surroundings. I know that sounds bad, but when I saw somebody that didn't know what his surroundings were, it was more of a concern.
Like, yes, in command of his faculties, as we might say.
I mean, you want somebody that you feel like can answer questions and know what's going on. It's really important.
Yeah, when I heard that Johnson, he was trying to get a meeting with the president for what, 8 months or?
It was like 8 or 9 weeks. Yeah,
yeah, and he's the third in succession. I mean, he should be able to. He should be able to meet with him.
Yeah. Even if he's not, he's literally he's the lead politician. He's the person who's basically in charge of the House. He should be able to get a meeting with the president in a few days. Unless he's traveling or some wild thing is going on, like, he should be able to, if you call up the president on Monday, you ought to be able to, as the Speaker of the House, be able to find a meeting with him sometime in the next 7 or 8 days at most. Yeah, and they were holding him off for nearly, over 2 months before he went to the press and was just telling them, like, something's wrong with the president. They won't let me meet with him. Yeah, and then they finally let him get in there. Yep.
I was reading about. I was cracking up. Operation Bubble Wrap. They have a whole.
Yes.
I think we touched on that Tuesday. So they have a group of interns, and all their job is to go out in the crowd with the reporters and yell and scream so nobody could hear what he is saying, and he couldn't hear what they were asking.
Yeah.
Just
And
the
they also were the part of it was also making sure like that he wasn't that they had total coverage of him so that he wouldn't stumble or fall downstairs or fall off a stage or anything like that.
Yeah, literal bubble
Wow.
wrap.
Yes.
The dead man says the adults are back in charge, and I
Yes.
think I saw the comment that I saw here
beautiful.
from Whalem03 who said he's a WWE character. I guess he was
Trump.
referring to Trump.
Well,
did he not actually like WWF back in the day? Didn't he actually come?
I think he actually participated. Yeah.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about it though is so the big thing I've heard on liberal media is that they are worried now that illegal Americans will get deported, and I'm like, illegal American? Well, like, what is that? What? And I realized something. It's not like there aren't legitimate things to criticize Trump for, but why are they going after the crazy made up stuff? It reminds me of pro wrestling. It's like, you can say anything bad about us, just make sure it's not really true. It almost seems like the whole thing is a kind of a heel and baby face thing. Like it's all kayfabe. Like none of this is real.
Yep.
It's very chilling when you start to wonder about that.
For sure. Something strange happened.
Yeah, like the hand salute. Oh, did you?
Oh, I got dumped out for a second, but I came back. So.
Okay. No, I understand. I guess though we have to start wrapping up. That was our final story that we kind of went over. Professor, I don't know which one of us can even see the super chats. Not the super chats, the people in the chat.
Let's see. I've still got the chat open here. Yeah, we lost our nice long log of everything from both sides. But
you're always better than me at that kind of stuff.
I'll take a look over here. Let's see at Rumble. We've got Kivo 1961 joined us. Is to Phobos over there on Rumble. Very nice. Pyromancer with some opinions. May contain traces of seafood. One Dirty Bird. Thanks for everyone over there on Rumble for joining us tonight. Let's see. Over on YouTube, going to be a little bit more abbreviated list here. I'm not sure we'll get everyone from the start.
It's okay, whatever you can do.
We have the Dead Man. Eraserhead, Empress NM, Hostman's Lounge joining us this evening. Thanks for being here. UK Gamer 6 was here. Tim Hayes, Davina Duckworth, Argentum. Let's see.
Contra Mortem.
Yeah, I got Contra Mortem. Stephen Mack. Seeing a lot of the chats from the same people here. So yeah,
Mary White and Joshua Calkins.
Oh yes, Joshua Calkins. Yes, thanks for joining us. Badfoot, Bill S. Preston Esquire, and let's see if I can find any other ones here. Caleb Levine, Jonathan Conroy, Corbin Dallas, Multipass.
Corbin Dallas.
Yeah, he mentioned Mary White. Let's see who else. Cosgrove, Whalem 03 joining us this evening. Any other?
Did you get Stephen Mack?
Yes, got okay. Stephen Mack. But thanks for being here, Stephen. I know we saw Marla Sherendorf earlier. I don't think I mentioned her. I'm sure we missed some people from earlier in the chat because of our stuff kept getting reset. But thank you everybody for being here. And yes, Multipass.
Let me just thank you guys for having me on. I'll let you
Yeah.
guys wrap it up. I also see a Captain Palsy. I don't
Yes,
know if
Captain Palsy looks like it just popped in. Hey there, Captain Palsy.
Jonathan Conroy, I think we said.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna sign off as soon as I figure out how to do that.
All right.
You guys have a great night. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Bye. Let's see. Let me see where this thing is. Okay. How does it look? Am I still in my ship? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Something's weird. Like it's now different, the ship, than it was, but I don't know. It's fine for now.
Yeah, it's fine.
It'll be okay. So, yeah, I guess we said goodbye to everybody. I want to also thank Istophobos.
Yeah.
He just, I know he likes conspiracies and stuff, and I thought once we were talking about JFK, I thought it would be nice to hear. Also, there was a day that he was supposed to, like I said, he was supposed to come on to talk about TikTok, but then he fell asleep and it didn't work out. We got to it really late.
As you do. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. We did get to it to like the final thing in the show. So it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, before we head out, I'd like to just go back and review all of the super chats and everything that we received this time around. We really appreciate it. We got the multiple gifted memberships, 5 gifted memberships from Istophobos. We really appreciate that. We also we got a member milestone chat from Tim Hayes for 1 month there, and we also got a super sticker from 6. So thanks again for taking care of the channel and supporting us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And before we go, like I always say, if you're watching this on Rumble through some kind of app, but you haven't subscribed to Rumble, you should definitely subscribe because you can do it for free. There's a paid tier, but you can also do it for free. That way you're always updated when we're doing our streams. That's, of course, if you subscribe and you follow our channel, and then you'll always know when we're doing streams. And also you can participate in the chat and a lot of other stuff. Definitely worth it to get a subscription, to open an account on Rumble, and even if it's not for a paid subscription, there like I said, there's a tier where you don't pay anything. You can still use the platform. So I recommend that. And whatever other platform you're on, wherever you're watching this, if you aren't already following us, you should do that. If you can like the stream, do that. And I put some links here today for Professor R2's X account if you feel like following him, and Istophobos. And I guess on that very positive note, we could probably head out, right?
Yeah, that's all we got for this evening. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks,
Appreciate you being here. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Wait a second. Kivo1961 was gifted a membership by Istophobos. Thank you very much, Istophobos. Very nice of you. Great having you on. And you all have a good night.
Take care.
Bye.